teacher in the College of Medical Technology. So I am a medical technologist by profession. Okay, this is actually the second time I took IELTS, but the first one expired in 2016. That was supposed to be for a student visa that didn't push through because of finances. So right now I'm taking it for a US work visa for my visa screen. This time I took the computer-based test because I took the paper-based one in 2014 and I noticed that I have to worry about my handwriting. This time I don't want to worry about it and I can easily erase any corrections or make any corrections that I want in a computer-based IELTS. So I took the IELTS last December and it was actually a rainy day. Good thing I took it in Cebu and the IDP office is in Ayala, so it's very near a mall. And I took the speaking test in the morning and I had to go get lunch and then after that were the remaining other tests. So since it's near a mall, it was very convenient for me to eat. So I really like the location and I also like that the facility is quiet. I can compose my thoughts without being distracted. So it was very smooth. Another thing that helped me was that choosing computer-based system was very relatable for me because I taught online for 3 years. So it was a familiar system and it went very smoothly. I chose IDP because, as I mentioned, I already took the IELTS last 2014. That time, since it was for a student visa, I was advised to choose IDP because they are very familiar and experienced with student visas. So this time, even though I am taking this for a work visa, given that I'm already familiar with how IDP works and they've been very satisfactory the last time I took it, I chose IDP again. Okay. So in 2014, I actually enrolled in a review center, and this time I didn't, perhaps for the lack of finances. And another thing, I also have a full-time job teaching, so I don't really have the time to go to a review center to review. But because I was already familiar with how IELTS work, I just checked the practice test on the IDP website. It was a very big help because it refreshed to me the patterns to look out for, especially in the reading and the listening tests. And I was also able to search for YouTube channels that talked about IELTS and has given me tips, especially on the speaking part. And it's actually very helpful to pray because even though you practice a lot, if you somehow get topics that you're not familiar with, then it's gonna be difficult. But this time, I was given a topic in speaking that was very close to my heart, which is movies. So I was able to share a lot during the speaking tests. IDP IELTS helped me a lot in this particular test, especially as I took the computer-based, in contrary to the paper-based, the one I took in 2014. Their practice test was actually very similar to the one I took in the actual exam last December. So when I opened the program, it was very similar in structure to the one that I took in their website. So it was familiar in navigating for me. And another thing that also helped me was viewing their videos on YouTube, as they've given really practical and very helpful tips on how to take the IELTS and what to expect. I heard that they also have webinars and modules, but as I said, I was busy with work, so I wasn't able to get access to those videos. But for sure, for those who are aspiring to take IELTS, those resources are free and you can really tap into them. The main obstacle, I would say, that hindered me was myself. I can be quite a procrastinator, and with my full-time work, time was also precious. It was difficult motivating myself to study. Thankfully, one of my hobbies include listening to a podcast. And there's this podcast on YouTube by Mike Winger where he talks about Bible apologetics, and since it's kind of an intellectual podcast, it trained me in my listening skills. And I also like to read scientific journals and other intellectual articles, so it trained me in my reading skills. So I think if you don't have the funds or the time to enroll in a review center, you can optimize your time and integrate your hobbies with things that would practice your reading, listening, writing, and speaking skills. And since I already said I'm a teacher, I always make it a point to teach in the English medium so that I can also practice my speaking skills when I'm at work. So it's easier to integrate your review with your daily lifestyle without having to spend for anything. My experience on the day of the test was quite interesting. As I said, it rained, and it actually rained very hard. It was just a downpour, but thankfully, like I mentioned, the facility was very quiet and cozy. So even though it was kind of storming outside, when I went in the office, it was calm, and it somehow gave me a peaceful ambience to just gather my thoughts and be able to focus on the actual exam. So that really helped me a lot. And I also like that I took the IELTS in the actual IDP office, so I didn't have to go anywhere to look for where to take the writing test or the speaking test, unlike in 2014 where I took it in a hotel. So it kind of rattled me a bit, just looking for the rooms and where to find the rooms. And like this, last December, everything is in one office, so that helped me a lot. My one advice, one of many, is perhaps it would be best if you reserve for your IELTS test ahead of time. That's to give yourself additional pressure or motivation to study because you've already paid for it, right? Unlike if you're just thinking, I want to take IELTS, it wouldn't be enough motivation for you to actually study and focus. Another thing is to, like I mentioned earlier, to integrate your studying in your daily lifestyle. Listen to podcasts, watch videos, make sure it's in good English, and read not just novels but articles, because especially for the academic strand, you will be reading articles, most of them intellectual or scientific articles, so that would help you. And last but very importantly, pray, because as I said, it will help you if the topic given to you during the speaking test is a topic that you are close with. My first topic in 2014 was something that was not that relevant to me. I was asked to talk about a competition that I would want to join, and I don't like competitions, so I was at a loss for words that time. Although I did still pass, but it was at that time. But this time, in December, my topic was about movies, and I'm a movie junkie, so I was able to talk a lot, and I was able to share about my love for movies. So it really helps if the topics that you get are those that are close to your heart, so prayer really helps also. Based on experience, I would really recommend IDP IELTS, especially for those who want to take it or are taking it for their student visa, as they are very experienced in assisting aspiring students who want to study abroad. But even for those who are taking it for their work, they are still very helpful. Like I mentioned, I took practice tests on their website. That's very, very practical, very helpful. So you know what to expect during the exam. You know the patterns to look out for. You know the time, because they also add in the time limit on their practice tests. So it helps when you are able to place yourself in a mindset or a perspective of the actual test date.